Good morning. Welcome to my channel, Canning with Kate. I am doing a non-canning video just because I feel like there are some things that we need to talk about. Wow, that sun is really bright. That are worthy of discussing. Got to move my chair. Outside of the canning, but I think that it's still very much in the same lines. So it's been a couple weeks since I've talked about stuff, and I've just been trying to figure out what, out of all the myriad amounts of things that are going on in our country and in the world, what are things that I think are the most important to kind of highlight. So I'm gonna throw some things at you that I think you need to look into, to do your research, to definitely find sources of truth and honesty when I talk about this kind of stuff, because a lot of things people are just not aware of, and they sound so crazy out there and so incredibly impossible to be happening in our country and in the world, that people's minds just kind of like turn off, and they're like, this will never happen. You are completely crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're believing all these lies and misinformation. And I would strongly disagree with that. I think that a lot of this stuff is worthwhile to look into and discuss, because it is. So first thing, I have found out that with the war to Ukraine, everybody knows about that going on, and a lot of people don't quite realize how much money the United States has been giving to Ukraine. And I just wanted to throw out a number. In the past 4 weeks, 4 weeks, in 1 month, the United States government has given $2 billion to Ukraine. And that's just in the past 4 weeks. That doesn't count the past year that we have been just throwing money at this country. And I think that my question is, why have they not been sending money to Maui, who is dealing with an incredibly traumatic fire and having completely destroyed everything, and so much lives have been lost, and so many people are still missing. Over 1,000 people are still missing, and most of them are children. Why have they been completely ignored? So that's $2 billion have been sent over to Ukraine just in the past 4 weeks. That's a lot of money, and my thoughts on that are, it does not need to be sent. I think that is money, if we even have that money to spend, that money should be going towards the American citizens. A lot of banks have been losing money. A lot of people have started losing faith and trust in the American dollar. So here in the US, many banks have been experiencing high withdrawal rates, and it's actually pretty concerning. And that just kind of tells you where the financial piece is in this country, when so many people are just starting to take out their money. That kind of tells you that people don't believe that the dollar is stable anymore. And then with all over the world, many countries are starting to join BRICS, and they are starting to pull out of any dealings using the American dollar. Now, the American dollar has been, the standard for trade, for everything in the world for so long, that it's hard to believe that people are starting to say, well, we're not going to be using your dollar anymore. We're going to be trading and spending only using our country's money. And so what happens when the rest of the world no longer uses our currency. I think that that's something that we need to think about, something that should concern us for sure. A lot of countries have been starting to stockpile gold and silver. Why? That's something that we need to ask ourselves. And why is the US government just printing crap loads of money when we can't back it? Our debt has gone, I think it's like $1.4 trillion up in a very short amount of time. I can't remember exactly how much time has gone through, but it's been very short. And it's gone up 1.4 trillion. Like, I can't even comprehend that kind of money. But here we are spending money or sending money to Ukraine every week, it seems like. So that just makes me kind of question where our financial reserves should be. I would encourage people to think about that, start looking into other avenues of finance, gold, silver, have a reserve of dollars that is not necessarily in the bank, and other things. There's other ways to have bartering or tradable items that have value aside from the dollar. I would never say pull all your money out. I don't think that's a wise thing, but I do think that it's important to start asking these questions. Another thing is that housing is starting to crash a little bit. And again, this is not something you're going to hear on the news. People don't want to talk about this. But because of the economy, even though it's apparently so great, people can't afford their homes anymore. They can't afford the houses that are on the market because they're so astronomical, and the rest of our finances, just getting groceries and paying our bills, is taking all of the money that we have. We can't afford a $400,000 house and where I live, our property taxes have also skyrocketed. So when you think about purchasing a new home, you also have to think about the mortgage and the interest rates, which are continuing to go up. You also have to think about the property taxes, which, depending on where you're looking, they may also be going up. And insurance. I mean, everybody I know, their insurance has gone up. So with all of the increases everywhere, the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, oh my gosh, the cost of insurance on your property, the mortgage rates, everything is causing the housing market to start slowing down significantly. And my thought is that we are going to start seeing a crash in the housing market that we have never experienced before. I would guess that it's going to be worse than 2008, which is a little bit worrying, honestly. So if you are in the market for a house, what kind of questions does that make you ask? If you are selling a house, what kind of things would you be asking yourself about that? Is it a wise thing to do? Is it a wise time to do any of that? Can you afford it? Can you afford not to? Things like that. It's we need to start asking questions about what is going on in this country that is causing all of this, because you're not going to hear about it anywhere else. The illegal immigration that is going on in the border has not slowed down, y'all. It is still booming. It's a booming business for the U.S. government. and it's a booming business for the Mexican cartels. And I just found out in an article that New York City, they have so many migrants going to New York City that they cannot house everybody. But that's not the only thing, is that New York City residents who belong there, who have lived there, probably their entire lives, these children were supposed to start school this week. Or maybe it was last week. It was probably last week. They were supposed to start school. 21,000 children, y'all. 21,000 New York City residents, students, were turned away and said that the school is full. You want to know why? Because all of the illegal immigrant children, and yes, I'm going to say illegals because it is illegal. They are not coming in the proper way. And there could be a huge discussion on immigration into this country, and yes, I absolutely believe it needs to be reformed, but it's not reformed yet. And all these people are coming illegally, and the country has decided to allow these students, through no fault of their own, access to our public school system ahead of the students who are here and who have been born here and raised here their entire lives. And so these other students, these other kids, where are they going to go? How are they going to get educated this year when other people took their place? We're seeing that in Chicago, and now they're starting to thinking about setting up temporary housing, like tents, like tent cities in Chicago, because of all of the illegals that are coming over. What is that going to do to your cities that are experiencing this? I have nothing against immigrants coming over here. If you come over here in the proper manner, if you come over here and follow the proper protocol, come on over. If you are going to contribute to society, come. If you want to start your own business, if you want to work, if you want to, there are so many opportunities here, but that's not what they're doing, okay? We have seen crime skyrocket. We have seen people losing out on things that they have normally been receiving, because those resources are now being put to somebody else who isn't supposed to be here. Okay? It's changing the demographics of our country. It's changing our cities. It's changing everything. And the borders are still open, and people are still flowing through. There's got to be a plan. Okay, there has to be a reason why they still have not closed those borders. And it is not to the benefit of the American people. It is not to the benefit of American citizens. And I think that there's a far more nefarious plan going on. And I would bet a lot that it has to do with the 2024 elections. So those are a few things that I just wanted to share and kind of put out there. The next thing is, I think that all of this has to do with there's an agenda, okay? America today is not the same America that I grew up in, that most of us grew up in. It is absolutely not the America that I expected for my children. And it's something that we need to start changing our way of thinking in order to handle it. I think that there's going to be a severe financial collapse in the next year, if not sooner. I would not be surprised if it happened sooner than a year. And with everything that is going on with our food supplies, with the grain deal going south with Russia, with a bunch of countries saying that they are no longer going to be shipping or anything with their own, with rice, with grains, with oil, all of this stuff is going to affect us significantly. And it's not because we are not self-sufficient as a country, we certainly are, but what has happened is that we've become so dependent upon other countries for our resources that we don't even know how to use our own resources. We are no longer equipped to use our own resources. It is so loud, I'm sorry. That we have crippled ourselves as a country. And so I would strongly encourage you to look into gardening, to growing your own food. Start making sure that your pantries are set. Get a couple extra cans at the grocery store if you can find them, if you can afford them. Start stocking your pantry any way that you can. I would highly encourage you to look into, if you don't have a canner, get a canner. A pressure cooker is very different than a pressure canner. So make sure that you don't get a cooker, because you cannot preserve food in a cooker. Okay, so if you don't have a pressure canner, look at getting one. If you don't have a water bath canner, get one. You need to start building your skills in order to provide for your families, to provide for yourself. I just got back from the gym, and something that I am really not great at is taking care of my body. But today I made the decision that I really want to start making sure that I am physically ready for hard things, for hard times. And I know that I need to start building up my stamina, building up my strength, building up my endurance, because I think that there are going to be some really, really difficult times ahead, physically demanding. And I want to be able to take care of my kids and not completely fall apart physically. So that's something that I think everybody needs to start looking at, is their own physical health. Got your mental health, and just prepare mentally that this country is going down. It's going down a dark path, and it could be a lot sooner than we think. And you need to prepare mentally for that. And just, I would even encourage preparing your kids. If you have kids, prepare your kids for that, because it's not going to be easy for you. It's certainly not going to be easy for them. But as long as you are staying strong, as long as you are staying positive, and as long as you're being realistic about what is actually happening, your kids will be fine. And then just get ready to do the hard things. Y'all, my heart has broken for this country, and there are times when I've just had to readjust my thinking in preparation for what's coming. And so I would very much encourage all of you to turn your mindset to difficult times. Get ready to do the hard things. Get ready to make the hard decisions. Get ready physically, get ready mentally, get ready spiritually. The only thing that is going to get us through is having a community of strong people, being strong ourselves. And then I think that the biggest, most important thing is having faith and a relationship with Christ. My family does, and I think that we are going to learn just how important it is to rely on God during these times, because He's the only one who's going to get us through. I think that He is giving us plenty of warning for the times ahead, using a lot of wise people to give us warnings, and we need to take heed. We need to pay attention. We need to prepare. We need to get ready. And if we ignore it, that's on us. If we ignore it and pretend it's not going to happen, we swear up and down that this country is fine, it's going to be bad. So get ready, share your thoughts, your comments, and let's do this together. Okay? Prep your pantries, prep yourself, your bodies, prep your gardens, and start finding the truth. Start researching things. Start looking beyond what the news and the government tells us. And also be prepared for lockdowns. What are you going to do? What is your family going to do? And be strong. Be strong. We can only do this when we stay together. All right. Have a great day, and I hope to see you back.